Alright, shall I do a quick demonstration of angle snapping and what it does? Alright. Let me explain it to you. Okay. The best way to do this is to use MS Paint, okay? So, this is the application. The application is... Okay, Chen, listen, please. Calm down with the light effects. Alright, I'm gonna explain it now. Alright, here we go. Alright, so this is the application. It's into Excel. So it's an application that allows you to add mouse acceleration as well as other features to your mouse driver. Now, mouse acceleration has got a very bad rep over the years for being not good for gaming, and I think mouse acceleration has a place in gaming, but I personally don't like acceleration. What we are using is this feature called angle snapping. Now, by default, most people, or everybody, when you're using a mouse, your angle snapping is set to 0. And what it means is, when you are trying to draw a straight line with your mouse, you can see that because you are pivoting your arm, right, you're not going to get straight lines. So you see how they're quite straight for me, not bad, but they're not straight at all. And my vertical ones as well, even worse because of the fact that I'm using my fingers and I'm fingertip gripping them in to get it right. Now, with angle snapping, everyone's value is going to be different because it depends on how you hold the mouse and how you pivot your arm. But what angle snapping does is it basically helps you draw these horizontal lines in the 2D in the 3D space and 3D world, whilst navigating we're using a 2D plane of movement, right? So let me do a hard example, right? So 30. If I set my angle snapping to 30, it's super easy for me to draw straight lines, right? You see how straight these lines are? Mad straight lines. I can also do vertical ones really easy, right? Really easy vertical lines. Now, the issue with using a high angle snapping setting is if I try and draw diagonal lines, can you see how they're not straight? And if my diagonal line starts with a horizontal first, I get this S bend. So what everyone needs to do is, if they're going to try out angle snapping, is they need to find a value that works for them, that helps them draw the vertical lines and the horizontal lines without preventing you from drawing diagonal lines. So for me, after testing, the 16 value for angle snapping gives me quite straight horizontal and vertical lines, right? But importantly, it doesn't impact me from being able to draw my diagonal lines. Right? Because when you're fighting down staircases, or you're tracking a person as they go diagonal across, you don't want to have your diagonal tracking ability impacted by the angle snapping. So that is what angle snapping is. It's just a driver setting. And it basically helps because your arm rotates on a pivot, right? Think about this, right? If I'm drawing a horizontal line, I would need to move my hand like this. But when I use my hand to move my mouse, what actually happens is I do this. I pivot my elbow and I swipe like this. Wow, I'm gonna try it later for sure. Yeah, just look up angle snapping setup, because what you need to do is you also need to set your values correctly, right? So there's a couple of values you need to set, like your polling rate. Mine is 2000. You need to set your DPI. My DPI is 1600. Right, so you set those two values, and then if you don't want any acceleration, set acceleration to 0, sensitivity cap to 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then this is the value that you play with, right? I would say that 30 is a lot, 16 is quite nice for me, but it's going to be dependent upon your playstyle, your grip, your movement, that kind of thing.